I'm Colonel Pixley,
And I'm Alderin Gerand.
and you're listening to the November 2nd transmission of Comm Chatter, the show about people's lives and the news that concerns us. Today, we're going to discuss what this show is about, who we are, the new shifts released by Anvil and RSI, Operation Scimitar, and just other stuff that happens to come across our minds. So, join us after the jump, and we'll dive right in. So I said in the intro, shows about people's lives and the news that concerns us. Well, okay, what does that mean? Well, by people, I mean us regular people. Not like senators or wealthy billionaires or the imperator or the upper echelons of the military. I mean people who buy auroras, fly out, and just make their living among the stars. Nothing particularly grand about it, necessarily. Just, regular folks. And, of course, in that vein, we talk about the news that only concerns us. So we're not going to talk about, who's going to win the next election or that stuff. Stuff that concerns us. Like pirates on particular trade routes or that kind of stuff. It's about ordinary people and our ordinary events. So of course you might be wondering, who is Colonel Jason Pixley? Well, I'm ex-Navy, fought Vandal for several years. No, Colonel was not my real rank in the Navy. I mean, come on. It's not a rank in the Navy. But I'll explain that later. I'm from New Austin, born and raised, live there now. I'm divorced. And following leaving the Navy and the divorce, I founded Pickandshield Mining and Security Group, which is meant to fight pirates, because I just want to do some good in the world, in the universe, whatever. Protecting everyday people like those of you listening. So I used the last of my savings to buy a 325A. And I'm killing pirates. I mean, okay, and I call myself Colonel because I'm the leader of that. That's my Colonel thing. Because I'm still a pilot, and generals and admirals aren't pilots. So, Colonel it is. But, yeah, that's a pretty good overview of who I am, what I'm about. Alderin?
Yes, I'm Alderin Gerand. I have a very similar background to the Colonel. I'm from Terra as well, but not a glamorous city like New Austin, just a little backwater town. I joined the Navy and served for a few years there after running with some pirates and when flying with a small company I was with. Joined the Navy thinking I would fight pirates, but they sent me against the Vandal instead. I joined Pick and Shield after hearing about it from another source, and used the last of my savings to buy a 300i. Couldn't quite scrap together the money for a 325, although it does look like a much better ship for what we do.
Indeed.
And that's about it, really. There's not much else to say.
Alrighty, well then, moving on to the news. Let's get started with the Aurora Legionnaire, then.
A few weeks ago, Robert Space Industries announced a new model of the Aurora, the Legionnaire. The Legionnaire is a combat-oriented version of the Aurora, featuring 2 extra weapon hardpoints. It comes stock, armed with 2 Claws and Werner Bulldog repeaters, with 2 slots empty, as well as a 1x4 Bearing Marksman Heatseeker missile. It also comes with a Store-All Mini. Not only that, but it also has an enhanced factory power plant, an ANR LR5 Max Overdrive, a larger, more powerful engine, the OKB Boschkot Energy of 4, more maneuvering thrusters, 8 rather than 6, more shield slots, and a basic shield of a Gordon Defender All-Stop. While not top dog by any stretch of the word, it is certainly a capable ship, and I would gladly fly one if I had to. In fact, I might even pick one up and fit it to be a heavily armed cargo ship. I'm not sure my 300i is the best suited for such tasks. The Aurora, it's a utility ship after all.
Yes. No one actually cares about that. I'm just kidding. Anyone who actually cares, good for you. But the more exciting news, in my opinion, is the new Hornets. And as an ex-Navy pilot, I do have extensive experience in the Hornet. Granted, I'm talking about mil-spec here, and this is civvy-spec. But there's some good stuff. Now, I'm not going to go all technical here, because I don't feel like doing that right now. But the point is, there are 4 versions of the Hornet available to civilians now. There's the standard F7C, which is decently armed and has a cargo container on it. There's the Hornet Ghost, that is covered with stealth skin and has super low emission weapons, engine, thrusters, all that kind of stuff. There's the Hornet Tracker, which is basically the counter to the Ghost. It has an advanced scanning suite available to it with some decent weapons on it as well. And then there's the 2-seater Super Hornet, which is outfitted very similarly to the mil-spec variety, except it has 2 seats instead of just the one on the militarized version. I'm super excited about this, and I wish I had that kind of money. But I don't. One day.
Yeah, it looks like a brilliant ship. I definitely want one at some point.
Yeah. If I didn't have to pay child support, I'd have one by now. Ugh, stupid divorce. Anyway, so yes, that's the ships.
Although, crap, I should mention this before. There is one thing interesting about the Hornets.
Yes.
That I just noticed earlier looking at the brochure.
Oh.
They, while they can fit Tier 4 engines, or thrusters rather, they come with Tier 3.
Oh.
So I don't know if this has anything to do with the being civilian ready, or if that's what they normally are. So, let's throw a bigger thruster on there, even better. They might be able to keep up with our 300 eyes. We definitely have the faster ships, but they are more heavily armed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even with the Tier 4, I would imagine a 350R would still run circles around it.
Maybe, but the...
Well, assuming it doesn't explode. But that would be interesting. I would pay money to see that. Anyway, so moving on to our next news topic, Operation Scimitar. If you live on the edge of Xi'an human space, you might have noticed an upscale in the amount of advocacy forces there and other kinds of patrols, whereas the military is pulled back to a different location that is as of yet unknown to the general populace. So it seems like they're really cracking down on crime there, and also probably flexing a bit of muscle in light of the recent events concerning spying allegations by the Xi'an. So if you're over there and you happen to do things less than legal, A, if you hurt anyone, I'm coming for you, and B, watch yourself.
Definitely a tough time for people on the wrong side of the law there, or or for people that just made a bad decision.
Indeed. Well, and for all we know, they could be unfairly targeting some types of people. We don't know.
Yeah, we probably won't know until it happens in a large enough scale, and then it'll probably be too late.
And then it'll be all over the news, and then we'll definitely discuss it, because some poor normal person will probably have been on the business end of that.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Indeed.
Another thing I found interesting about the report is is part of the discussion on local police and militia. It stated that the advocacy could take action against those who do not agree with theirs, what they're doing. So they may end up targeting local, law enforcement, military as well.
Oh, well, in that case,
I mean, it's not a main goal of theirs, but they definitely are trying to make a statement with it.
Yeah, so if you are part of the enforcement over there, I hope you watch yourselves. Really hate to see any of our listeners get shafted like that.
Indeed. We'd like to thank everyone who's made this possible. The RSI team, sponsors, our listeners.
And I would personally like to thank Senate Van Ryn for kind of being the inspiration for the show. Despite the fact that no one's heard from him in quite some time, I still consider him a friend.
I'd like to thank him as well. I mean, he was the inspiration for doing this, and I found a pick and shield through him. Definitely want to hear from you again, maybe have you on sometime.
I'd also like to give a shout out to all the wingmen out there for doing such a great job. Keep flying. And for anyone, not just Senate, but anyone who would like to be on the show, share what they do, where they're from, who they work with, shoot us an email at pickandshield@gmail.com. Despite the fact that it is quite clearly a Pick and Shield address, we are not biased. We'll even take pirates on the show. Imagine that. You damn dirty imbeciles.
Yes. Please see about getting on the show. We could definitely use more people, more things to talk about.
Indeed. So, this is Colonel Pixley
and Alderin Gerand,
signing off.